it's Nice here. Hope you're doing well. And this is Disturbed. This is a free indie horror game on Steam. And it's a choose your adventure sort of thing with horrible deaths, apparently. Let's check it out, shall we? The game is available for free, by the way. Another dull day passes as you struggle to manage your failing farm. Your crops are beginning to wilt and your cow is sick. For some time, the land has been very quiet. The air has grown thick and foul. Each passing day you feel more uncertain if things will ever return to how they were before. Perhaps it's up to you. You've made up your mind. You're going to do something about it. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. I think lots of quick saves are going to be required here, guys. Do we go in the crops, go in the house, or go in the shed? Let's go in the shed. You attempt to open the shed door, but the door won't budge. You remember locking it some time ago, but you can't remember what you did with the key. Well, we seem to be suffering from serious memory problems. Let's check out the crops instead then. A path divides the crops you've laboured so hard to prosper these past months. A penetrating odour reminds you your plants are decaying away, and time is running short. I guess we, let's go to the pen. A toxic fume burns your nose as you enter the pen. Your poor cow lays lifeless on the ground as a growing blight slowly begins to consume her body. You feel sick to your stomach as you stand there, especially as you stare at the black mushrooms that dot the ground. I feel that a lot of these are going to be bad, but let's grab a mushroom. You kneel down and grab a mushroom. As you begin to rip it out the ground, a cloud of spores spray from the mushroom. Your hand begins to burn and melt as you observe them. Slowly, your body shrivels up into a dark, moist consistency as the poison spreads. You die, eventually, after crawling about on the ground. Your adventure ends here. Got the achievement, those are some serious shrooms. Let's, continue, shall we? Let's try the water this time round. You inspect the water looking for anything abnormal. You notice the water has a dark consistency to it. Dropping a stone into it, black particles from the bottom swirl around like a thunderstorm. Your face shrivels in disgust. We're leaving the pen. Okay, let's go back to the house. I feel like we don't want to miss too much. Let's go into the house itself. Entering the house, you feel a subtle unease as if the growing blight outside has penetrated the walls of your safe haven. From what you see, however, everything is the same as you left it. Perhaps this may be a good time to just lay in bed and wish your problems will just go away. You fight the notion, but the temptation is still there. Let's open the chest. You open the chest and find nothing more than a pile of papers. It seems you have less valuables than you anticipated. You close the chest. Dear Journal, another useful day on the farm. Usual day on the farm. The crops are growing with good health. Bethany is doing quite well. Never disappointed with the milk she produces. If things continue to go well, I'm able to invest in more animals. A farmer can only be so social with a cow. Dear Journal, today's been an unfortunate day. Somebody broke into my shed and stole some things. I usually don't mind if someone steals a bite to eat from the garden, but they take my equipment. Well, I put a lock on the door and hid the key. Nobody will ever get into my stuff again. Dear Journal, I woke one night to a foul smell I've never come across before. I took a step outside to see what I could find, but I found nothing after searching about the farm. Whatever it is, it must be bad. I should make a trip into the city to see what this is all about. Well, I feel like laying in bed's definite death, so let's go back outside. And we'll go to the crops and then continue down the path. You continue on the trail for a while until you see a cave off in the distance. You pause, questioning if there could be something helpful in there. Let's go in the cave. There's a faint whistle from the wind passing between the rocks. The temperature significantly cools as you enter the cave. You notice there is a different smell, but you welcome it, comparing it to the deathly blight found outside. Oh fuck. Before you take your next step, a large bear emerges from the darkness. You realise you made a terrible mistake, even thinking that something helpful can be in here. Gonna fight the bear! You scan the ground and notice there are numerous rocks you can grab and throw at the bear. You begin to do so as the bear approaches you. One after the other, you throw the rocks as hard as you can. The bear charges you as you bend over to grab another rock. Tackling you to the ground, the bear bites into your neck. Your body quickly goes limp, and you die. Your adventure ends here. I think this game has achievements for every death. I'm not going to try and get them all because, you know, this is like a game you guys should check out yourselves and see what deaths you can find. So I'm just going to play it naturally and see what happens. You come to a stop as you stumble upon a broken wagon. You look about the mess and find bits of food and clothes scattered around the scene. You notice a key on the ground during your search. You pick up the key and continue on your way. After what felt like an hour or two, you reach a bridge. Nearby the path is a small shack, similar to the house you have on the farm. The man that lives here is a kind fellow from what you recall. Maybe he's home. You walk towards the structure and knock on the door. You scratch the back of your head, figuring the person that lives here is currently occupied, if not elsewhere. You remember picking up a key from the wagon and use it on the door. The door unlocks. You decide to help yourself in. Observing the empty room, you realize something terrible must have taken place here. The room is a wreck, just like the wagon. You are overcome with fear as you think of the man that used to dwell here. Inspect the book on the table, I feel, is a good start. You pick up the book and start to flip through the pages. You discover that this is a journal. Reading a passage or two can't hurt. Today's trading went smoothly. Thank goodness! What I'm thrilled most about, however, is what one of my buddies mentions to me at the conclusion of our day. Apparently, there is a pond nearby that has some of the biggest fish in the region, with a good catch that can make enough to move things forward. I was caught off guard when you mentioned that nobody's been able to catch any from there. I guess your typical fishing rod won't do the trick. What can be done about it then? Something to be intrigued about, I suppose. These past couple weeks have been really rough for me. My trading business has gone under, and I've lost nearly everything I own. This has pushed me to the extremes, but that can't be helped now. I'm leaving this place forever, never to return. The land is dying, and there is nothing but darkness here. Anyone reading this should leave. While they can. You can't find a name to give this man, but regardless of the name, you've got chills running down your spine. I feel this is infinitely a bad idea, but let's do it anyway, shall we? You observe the trapdoor and notice a lock keeping it closed. With the key, you unlock the hatch and get it open. Without thinking, you travel downward. Walking down the steps, leading below, the air attacks your body with a piercing cold. What the fuck is that in the corner there? Is that the guy? You notice immediately there is a woman, chained to the wall. She doesn't seem to notice you as you study her. You feel darkness around you as you stay in this awful place. Okay, this is probably a death, but I'm going to do it. You tremble as you try and form words in your mouth. You dare? Let me out of here! The pressure of such a demand makes you freeze. You take a moment to think about the situation before you respond. What got you locked up to begin with? You'll never believe me, even if I told you the truth. Something brought you here. Please, have mercy on me. You approach the woman and lock the shackles that bind her. As her arms become free, she moans in pain. Oh, thank you so much. The woman struggles to regain her strength, but starts to stand up on her own. As she gets up, she turns towards you. I will now do you a favour. What seemed to be the face of a helpless woman disappears as a horrible image manifests itself before you. You feel the chilling grip of bone hands lock onto your arms. Energy flees from your body and you fall to your knees. You feel the essence of your life slip away as everything goes black. It's unfortunate that your journey ends here. We leave the shack and cross the bridge before something bad happens. You cross the bridge safely and continue down the trail. After all that's happened, you feel that you should take a moment to rest. You find a spot under a tree and sit down. Getting comfortable, you tilt your head back against the tree and gaze into the sky. Let's take a nap. Your eyes close and your body relaxes. You fall asleep within seconds. As your mind wanders, you see a blurry image. Details emerge as you gaze. You wonder who this might be. A bad feeling then overcomes you, and you realize who this is. You try to wake yourself up. You wake up and jump to your feet, looking about yourself and your surroundings. All seems well. You can't help but feel fearful something bad will happen if you stay here. Moving forward seems like the only logical option now. You reach a point where the trail splits into two paths. Which way should you go? Let's go left. After continuing down the path for some time, you come to a stop. You notice there is some sort of trail that leads through the grass up towards a nearby hill. If you had not stopped, you probably would not have noticed it. Which way do you go? Follow the trail in the grass, I guess. Following the subtle trail in the grass, you stumble upon what looks like a grave. You approach the grave. You look at the sword with intrigue. Before you can touch the sword, a ghostly figure appears before you. You freeze before the apparition. The sword, may I have it?
The blade is cursed. I'm bound here by the pain of my past. If you desire the sword, free me from it.
You slowly motion for the sword.
For only something of pure essence can free me. A rare hope, like a flower found only in darkness.
Well, this is certain death, I guess, so let's... Fuck it! I just saved. Grab it. You reach for the sword. Before you can lay a finger on it, the spirit grabs your arm. A sharp pain flows over your body as your flesh melts off your bones. What fragments remain fall to the ground. Your adventure ends here. Lovely. We're going to continue down the path away from the grave. You walk for some time to find an endless field of grass. There's a stone well near the path. Oh god, games with wells lately. You peer down the well. Other than the evident water at the bottom, there is a coin resting against the wall of the well. If possible, you should go down there and take the coin. You lean over the edge of the well. There is no possible way you can obtain the coin by reaching for it. With this in mind, you turn down and climb down the inner wall of the well. You take a few successful steps down, but your luck runs out. You misplace your foot, and you fall. Tumbling about, your body clashes against the stone walls. With a single knock on the head, you lose all consciousness of your accident. With a splash, you fall into the water. Your body sinks effortlessly, and you drown without even realizing it. Your adventure ends here. Great! Fuck you! Walking over the hills of grass and grain, you reach the walls of Aramore. Several times a year, you come here to trade goods from the farm. You discover the plague has spread to the farm, has also spread all the way out here. Your path before you is overrun with blight. I mean, this seems like certain death as well. You come a long way and you don't desire to turn back now. You march forward into the tainted soil. Before you realise what's happened, you sink completely under the ill soil. Darkness consumes you, and your lungs struggle for air. Your body burns in pain as you suffocate and die. Your adventure ends here. Fuck! I guess we need a magic sword or some shit. So we've gone back to where the pathway split and headed right this time. You reach the end of the pathway, and in the distance is a tower, looking over the area. A gate secures passage to the area with a wall around the property. Also of interest, there is a tree that has a hole carved into it. Let's inspect the tree. You approach the tree and notice the hole is big enough to fit your hand in. You look and see something shiny in the hole as if it were metal. Feeling around with your hand, you find 3 knobs. One on the right, one centered in the middle, and one on the left. This is gonna kill me, but fuck it. Oh shit. Okay, right. The knobs lock in place. You wait for a moment, but nothing happens. It must be some sort of combination. Right, we'll leave the tree for now. Okay, let's go to the gate, I guess. I don't really know what else to do here. You approach the gate cautiously. Standing before the tower, your heart begins to sink. This is no doubt the birthplace of the spreading plague. There is a fountain before you with statues on your right and left. You see an old statue of an angel that's been consumed by vines of thorn. The angel's holding a book in one hand. The other one finger pointed up towards the sky. You feel it best to leave the statue alone. Before you stands an old angel statue that's broken in many areas. With one hand, the angel's holding some sort of bowl, while the other hand is hovering over the bowl, You notice there is only 2 remaining fingers on the angel's other hand. You feel you should keep your distance and observe the statue. This is really weird. I don't really know what we should be doing here. It's a dark haze about the fountain. The water is black and the smell burns with every breath. You feel a slight pull towards the fountain, as if it were calling for something. I guess we're going to the tower. You approach the door. As you reach the doorknob, an invisible barrier stops you. It must be some sort of magic. Okay, so presumably we've got to solve the puzzle in the thing if we're going to have a fucking chance here of progressing. Okay, so after looking at the statues a bit, I just realised the one on the left has 1 finger up and the one on the right has 2 fingers up. So is it just left, right, right? Is that what's going to be the combination on the tree? Press the knobs. Left, right. The knobs lock in place. There we go. You hear the rumbling of rocks. The ground starts to shift beneath you. Everything goes dark and you sink below the surface. The hole above you seals up, trapping you underground. You find yourself with no evident way out but the path before you into the darkness. Your only choice is to move forward. You see 3 separate paths within the walls of the cavern. Which path do you choose? You cautiously make your way through the darkness. You come across a split in paths. Which way do you go? Let's just keep going left and see what happens. You move forward into darkness. Okay. Which is it? We're back here again, right? Is it just left, right, right again? Right. You struggled forward as the path before you comes completely dark. You notice there is a light off in the distance and you continue to make your way forward. Eventually you make it into some sort of concrete room. Turning around you see a hole in the wall where you came from. Your guess is that it wasn't part of the initial design. You turn around and see a door. There being little to nothing in the room, you decide to move through the doorway. You find yourself in what looks like a basement. You turn about to discover that in each direction there is a door. Boxes of supplies and debris litter the floor and corners of the room. You notice there are several markings on the doors and floor, some of which scare you. You have a bad feeling about this place. Alright. Inspect the supplies. You walk back the room browsing through the dust-covered storage. You find some rope in one of the boxes. It feels strong to the touch and has minimal wear. You decide to take the rope. Well, that makes the well a lot more achievable, you know what I mean? Right, let's go to the left door. Go back. So that's where we just came from. Right door. You enter a small room. There is a large cauldron in the center of the room with wood resting beneath. There is nothing on the shelves, as if someone cleared this place out. You look into the pot but find nothing in it. With nothing else to do, you exit the room. This is way more involved than I thought it was, by the way, guys. You enter a room for the metal cages. Before you is a hallway marked with questionable markings. You don't feel the feeling you have about this place. You don't like the feeling. Not feel the feeling, you idiot. Whatever was in these cages surely did not like to be locked up. You notice there is an animal in a cage on the left of the room. But from the dark stains on its fur, it is dead. You cautiously walk down the hallway, entering a room with 2 cell doors. Before you can do anything, a large hound leaps in front of you. The beast does not look very vicious, but one wrong move can surely be the end of you. Realizing you're not prepared for a moment like this, you slowly back away towards the other room. To your dismay, the dog follows your every movement. Before you can do anything, the dog leaps forward at you. You don't survive long and die a painful death. Your adventure ends here with a Who's a Good Boy achievement. Lovely. Well, I don't actually know where to go now. I feel like I've reached a bit of a stalemate, almost. Am I going to just go back and use the rope to get out? Is that the best way of doing this? I guess there are other tunnels in the mine, so let's do that. You walk up the steps. You enter a large room. The air is polluted with dust and spider web cover the walls and ceilings. Where should you go now? I mean, there's loads more here. Shit. Let's try upstairs first. You discover what looks like a private library. There is a passageway before you with bookcases on the left and right. You take a moment to look at the books. Some of them catch your eye. Rituals of the Ancients. You look around until something grabs your attention. Pillars of Stone. Years before current times, there were unique religious practices that revolved the Stonehenge. It is said that these stones are lined up in a special way and often organised in a circular pattern. Organising the stones this way unlocks an ancient power researchers still have trouble understanding. In the middle of the circle would be a stone or two for the keystone to rest on. This is a great mystery of the ancient practice. From ancient records, it is written that the energies from the surrounding stones channel their power into the keystone. You stop reading because the next page of the book has been torn out. There is a bent page marking a section of the book. You turn to it. The art of charming is not necessarily limited to the instrument, but how the musician goes about playing the given instrument. Some are definitely easier to use than others, and for a skill such as this, there are a few instruments recommended. The harp is one of those recommended instruments. From vicious dogs to shy unicorns, oh interesting, the soothing voice of the harp can calm the troubled heart. Of course, not all creatures can fall for this simple trick, but it can mean the difference between life and death in some situations, so we need a harp. Flipping through the pages, there is one particular that has ink markings all over it. Raw energy is a powerful substance not to be trifled with. It is merely myth that such energies exist. One does not simply stumble upon a pillar of godly power. Even if such a fate is of yours, bare hands cannot contain the force. It must be bent and channeled into a specially crafted vessel to carry it. There have been accounts across time of individuals possessing such power. Although they pass away as sand, the relics of power remain as powerful artifacts that nations around the world would fight for. You walk up the stairs. You pause as you notice a stone carving of a person praying that is attached to the wall. There's something odd about it, but you can't put your finger on it. With caution, you continue up the stairs. You enter a strange room with a large globe centered about this room. There are windows that let the light shine through. You notice there is a chest resting against the wall to the right. You also notice there is another passageway like the previous room. Approaching the chest, you notice there is a lock fastened to it. With no key to unlock the chest, you decide to leave it alone. You study the globe attached to the floor surface. The craft is made of metal, and there is fine detail in the grooves. There are various markings and names scattered across the globe. It takes you a moment, but you find a marking of where you are. Aramor. You notice that there are some hand-drawn markings within the area, made with black ink. There must be something close by that's interested the author of these markings. To add to the mystery, there are similar markings on other areas around the globe. You climb the stairs to find a wall ending your path. Above the end of the stairway is a hatch. You open the hatch and pull yourself up. You made it to the top of the tower. Before you is a stone tower resting upon an altar of rock. Dark vines have entangled the structure as if they were feeding off the energies of the stone. Your body begins to tremble as you stand before the stone. You definitely feel weaker being up here, as if the stone is sapping away your energy. I mean, I'm probably fucked, but let's destroy it. You approach the stone and grasp onto it. You lose sight and feel immediately as your hands have become glued to the stone. And we just get killed in the same way. I don't like the fact they recycled the graphic there. That's kind of shit, but you know, it's a little free game. Okay, so one thing I found out, guys, is if you go up here at all, you die. So if you try and run away, you turn and begin to exit through the hatch. To your surprise, you find it difficult to focus. You suddenly fall down through the hatch, it closing behind you. You hit on your head and tumble down the stairs like a rag doll. With a broken neck, you struggle to live, only to die moments later. Your adventure ends here. Bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. Absolute fucking bullshit. Okay, so we're back here now. Downstairs is where we came from. Let's try the far door. The door struggles to move, but you enter in what appears to be a spider's den. Well, this is bad news. The air is thick, and the room is a mess of web and body parts. You notice there are a couple of items in the room that could be useful. If nothing else, there's a key on the ground that we'll no doubt need. Before you can even act, a large spider falls from above. You have no doubt that it's hungry. Without hesitation, the spider attacks you. With nothing to defend yourself, the spider quickly bites you. And that's a game over. You begin to lose feeling of your body and everything goes black. Your adventure ends here. Sam doesn't save you in this story. Very nice, very cute. You pull out the rope you found earlier and fasten it to the well. You climb down with ease and obtain the coin. You struggle to pull yourself up out of the well, but you do so successfully. You then loosen the rope and store it away. Okay, so I'm pretty confident I know what to do here. I'm pretty sure we need to take the coin and put it in the praying statue, and then that will bless us, and then we go and get the sword, because we're no longer, we don't get cursed then if we're blessed, and then we have a sword to fight the spider and get the key. The key opens the chest is something to destroy the emerald, and we're done. That's what I think is the plan. I don't know if that's true, but I'll see you in a second. So, there's an area here that I didn't actually see last time. You pause to see there is a lake nearby. The trail continues on to your right. I mean, this is brand new, so let's inspect the lake. This is behind where the sword is. You step into the lake and look down into it. Resting underwater is an orb of some sort, sitting on the bottom of the lake. There's something strange about it, as if it were calling out to you. I'm gonna dive in. I'm probably gonna die, but fuck it. You close your eyes and jump into the lake. You open your eyes to see the stone sitting before you. You start to make your way toward it. A large fish comes into view. It quickly notices you with its mouth stretched open and eats you. Jesus Christ! You try to leap for the surface, but the fish catches up to you. You quickly find yourself helpless before the creature. You close your eyes as the giant fish rips your body apart with its teeth. You die a very painful death. Your adventure ends here. We're gonna just continue along the trail, guys, yeah? A faint trail comes to an end. There is a collection of stone pillars down the hill. Beyond the hill is a large field of grass. Let's inspect the stone pillars, even though this is probably for the ritual it mentioned, right? You stand before the large stones arranged in the shape of a circle. The centre is a stone with what appears to be some sort of slot or hole. No doubt about it, something is meant to be placed there. Seeing you can't do anything, you head back. Okay, so we need, like, the orb. There's lots more to this than I thought. This isn't anywhere near as more complicated than I thought on so many levels. Explore the field. You find yourself gazing over a grass field with the hills rolling off into the distance. As if a trick upon your eyes, you see a unicorn run across the field. It disappears out of sight before you can do anything. Surely the unique powers of unicorn can help you with your quest, but there is clearly something wrong. If only there was a way to charm it. Okay, so I've no idea what to do with this coin. Like, I've literally no idea what it's for. So I'm going to have to go and look around, guys, see what I can find, and then I guess I'll be back. There is the other route in the caves, which I haven't tried yet, and there is a bunch of maybe a few extra things that haven't been tested. So I'll go back and try those, and I'll see you in a second. Passageway soon ends with an enlarged mushroom sitting in front of you. A steady river of water flows between you and the mushroom. So we're in the underground caves right now, checking out the other routes, guys. I don't really know what's going to happen. We can't go all the way back to, like, our own house and stuff. There's, like, a cut-off point, so I guess it definitely is around here what we need to do. I mean, I feel this is certain death, but fuck it. You walk towards the mushroom as if there was something more than what meets the eye. Walking forward, you take a step into the water. To dismay, your foot hits no bottom when you fall in. You reach to grab hold of the edge of the surface, but your body freezes stiff. You lose your sight completely as the chilling water sends your body into shock. Without any sense of touch and warmth, your lifeless body sinks into the darkness. Okay? So, yep, figures. Fucking does figure. Jesus Christ. 1 second. You hear a subtle echo of rock shifting before you. An eye appears before you as its gaze pierces the darkness. Before you can do anything, tentacles burst from the ground and grip your body. It pulls you about, but you can't. It pulls you about, but you resist as much as you can. Not sure what to do, you continue to resist until you can think of something. Your body begins to grow weak as your strength burns away. You suddenly feel yourself pulled to the ground and are dragged off like a rag doll. It's not long before the creature devours your body, leaving nothing behind. This is just fucking. Got killed by a roper. There's all this horrible fucking shit down there. Like, I don't know. I don't know what we can do. So, I'm going to try forward, then right, I guess. I think I did forward left. As you make your way forward, you discover a large cavern. An old-looking ship rests against the edge of the lake with debris scattered about the surrounding area. You cautiously walk down towards the ship. The air is chilling and you fear it won't be a good idea to stay too long. The possibility of discovering something that can help you drives you to explore. You climb aboard the ship. As you take a moment to observe your surroundings, you're welcomed by a trickle of water brushing against the wood of the ship. You move about to see where you can go. Every footstep you take feels heavy as you hear the sound of wood cracking under your feet. You feel this ship has been here for quite some time. You explore under the deck of the ship. Nothing but the sound of your footsteps bounce about the structure of the ship. From one room to another, you come to discover a kitchen. Though there's nothing unique about it, you feel you should take a moment to inspect it. You pull one of the drawers out after another. Finding they had been emptied, dust spreads about the air as you disturb their rest. Checking underneath, you discover a rusty knife resting on the floor. You find there are plenty of other hardened rat droppings dotting the edges of the wall. You take the knives in the hopes that you may defend yourself with it. Let's inspect the oven, even though I'm going to get killed. You see a lone pot resting upon a dusty stovetop. You gaze downwards and open the oven door. Nothing but ash to fill the oven chamber. You close the oven door. Move on. Why is it asking me to inspect it multiple times? You continue along me tour the ship, only to find there is nothing of use or value. You make your way down to the deck and decide to continue your search. Again, you find nothing much but empty rooms left to remain in dark solitude. You discover a door, with fancy markings in the woodwork. Perhaps this is where the captain resided. You discover the room of the captain. Unlike the other parts of the ship, everything seems to have been left alone in this room. Before, you rest an old wooden desk with papers and assumed belongings of the captain. There is a small bed off near the corner of the room and some chairs in the other. You are feeling deep down you shouldn't take anything. Under the lamp and other objects, there is a small stack of papers in contrast to a lone paper resting by itself. Approaching the desk, you begin to inspect the papers resting on the desk. Let's read them. Peering about the pages of the collected pile of documents, you realise that most of these are personal notes or journal entries. Pick up a few and begin to read. The voyage has gone quite smooth. As we begin our second week away from home, the spirits of the men are high as we anticipate the discovery of new lands that lie beyond our undocumented knowledge. It's been my dream to accomplish something world-changing. Together, we move forward with full hearts and unbreakable spirits. Day 66. It's been over just 2 months at sea, and we've yet to discover anything new. We've suffered through many storms, and sickness has plagued the ship recently. Several of my favourite crew have passed on to the next life. I see the growing doubt in the eyes of my fellow labourers as our voyage continues day after day. Food rations have been cut in half, and fears that we may have to turn back. I do not let myself think of failure. Those men who've lost their lives, their sacrifices to make this voyage possible, I cannot let them be in vain. Day 91. It's come to roughly 3 months out here on the endless blue. With much pain, we have turned around. Yes, we are headed for home port. We've just enough food to make it back. I just hope we have a smooth journey back. The spirits of the crew are low and bitter due to our failure. I do not let myself get caught up in thinking of it. Truly, we did not intend for this to happen. Let's look at the loan document. Notice to the crew. Due to our unexpected predicament, everything is being split up in groups of 2 and 3. Scouting assignments will be given until we find more habitable place to settle. For now, we must do what we can. Seeing as to the left, you take your leave. I guess we left the boat. We have a knife now. That means the spider or the roper is now doable, I feel. We're gonna go left quickly. We're back at the entrance. Okay, so let's try and deal with the roper. Probably death, but it's worth a shot, right? You remember the knife you found and struggle to bring it out. With success, you hold the knife and begin to cut away the appendages that bind you. The room vibrates as you cut, and the creature immediately leaves you alone. It takes you a moment to catch your breath. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? We can go somewhere! Okay, we go right there, apparently. Forward. Right. The path you walked comes to an end. Before you shines a pillar of light. The light rests on a corpse that seems to have been there for quite some time. Near the corpse stands a lone flower. For some reason you feel hope enter your heart as you gaze upon the flower. Surely this flower will ease the pain of the spectre. You approach the flower and carefully pluck it from the ground. There is something special about this flower. Light continues to pierce through the darkness from an opening above. Surely this gives you some hope that not all is lost. We turn around. We got a flower, which will now go and give to the guy with the sword, I think, and get the sword. That's the plan. I guess I'll see you guys in a minute when I've done that, and hopefully that's right. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so here we are at the Spectre. Hopefully, this flower is going to save us. Okay, the ghost appears before. Without hesitation, you reach for the flower to give to the spirit. The spirit grabs the flower from your hand as you extend it to him. Gay! You feel a spell please blow by as the figure fades away with the flower. A faint whisper dances about the air. I'm free. At last! You feel a sense of relief within you and reach for the sword. You now wield this special sword. Go back. Now we're gonna go and take it to the place and do some fucking spider busting, yo! 1 sec. Okay, we're gonna try and fight the spider now, through the far door here. Okay. Here we go, spider. Without hesitation, the spider attacks you. You pull out your sword and stab the spider as it lunges at you. Over and over again, you stab the monster. Each time it squeals in pain. The spider flees into the darkness overhead. You hear it motioning about. Possible to strike again. You notice the key on the ground, close by your feet. Before more trouble happens, you quickly grab the key and make it for the door. Okay, so we now have the key, which presumably is going to open the chest upstairs, I'm going to gamble and say. Seeing as we haven't really uncovered any other locked things, you know what I mean? I don't know what that statue means. I'm worried about it. Open the chest. With the key you found earlier, you try to open the lock. The lock clicks loose and you open the chest. You discover a small wooden harp resting on the linen cloth. You take the harp and close the chest. Okay, so now we can charm the dog and the unicorn and have the greatest fucking day of our lives, pretty much. Guys, the game is all coming together. Let's go downstairs and deal with the dog first. Hopefully. I hope. Left door. Wrong one. Go back. Which door is it? Front door? I don't fucking know. Middle door? Yeah, it's this one. You pull out the harp and begin to pluck at the strings. The hound begins to wag its tail. To your surprise, the beast walks away as if charmed by your harp. You never gave it much thought how powerful music can be. Cell door on the left. You open the door to find a skeleton positioned in the corner of the room. There is also a bed and some chains attached to the wall. You've no doubt this individual was locked up for a long time. Inspecting the skeleton, you notice a ring on one of the bone fingers. It's a faint glow of light emanating from the ring, as if it were magical. You may find such a ring useful. You take the ring and put it on with a perfect fit. Seeing there's nothing of interest here, you leave this cell. That went pretty well. Let's try the cell door on the right. You enter the cell on the right. You see a wooden table on its side, some debris on the floor, and a large hole in the corner of the room. Seeing nothing special, you motion towards the hole. You discover a small passageway underground. Unfortunately, all you can see is fallen rock blocking the way through. Seeing there's little you can do, you go back to where you came. Okay, so we need to go back to the unicorn, is now the general gist here, I believe. So, I'll see you guys there. You find yourself gazing over a grass field. Here's the fucking unicorn. You suddenly remember the harp you found earlier. With the harp in hand, you pluck the strings. The soothing calm comes over you as you listen. The unicorn comes into view and stops before you. The unicorn glares at you, and you begin to hear a faint voice in... Am I going to die here? Human, have ear for my words. A great evil has gripped these lands. It has rendered me powerless. You must find some way to stop it. I wish I could help you, but without my full power I can do little. The fate of this land depends on you. Well, you're fucking useless, aren't you, unicorn prick? Before you can speak, the unicorn turns and runs off again. You realise you're too alone to complete this quest of yours. This is no longer about saving your farm. You must save the whole land from the spreading darkness. Fuck this shit! You turn back as you question what you should do next. I don't fucking know, because I don't have anything to do now. Because the unicorn didn't fucking help me, the useless cunt. I've got a magic ring. The magic ring is clearly for something. I don't know what, though. Okay, I can't do anything with the stone pillars, so I'm going to have to go through every scenario that's left, which isn't actually that many, to be fair, and see what this fucking ring does. I'm assuming I can, like, shove it up something's ass, you know, to progress, so let's see what happens. I'm going to try and kill myself in the lake and all this shit. When something happens, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I figured out what to do. So, guys, I'm in the lake, and this time, apparently, we can defend ourselves. The fish swims at you with haste. Just as it gets in range, you thrust the sword in the top of its mouth. The sword penetrates and goes through the forehead of the fish. It struggles about in pain as blood filters through the water. You pull the sword out and the fish retreats out of sight. You doubt it will live long. With the fish no longer a threat, you make your way to the orb. Holding it onto your hands, you feel it vibrate as there is energy inside it, trying to break loose. This must be important. So this is either the power source for those ancient ruins just around the corner, or it's the power source for that weird statue in the castle. So I'm going to continue along the trail and try the ancient ruins first. You remember the orb you found on the floor at the lake nearby. You place the orb in the slot carved in the center rock. The stones that surround you begin to glow. The light radiates and grows brighter. With a flash of light, your surroundings change. The ground no longer is grass. The newly discovered floor appears to be very old, as if crafted by somebody a long time ago. Rubble and stone near the edges of the platform also hint this is an ancient place. Great. Looking onward at the end of the pathway is a fountain of light. There seems to be no beginning or end. An endless power is steadily flowing. You're amazed at such a sight. I guess we'll approach the light. The light intrigues you and you step towards it. But I'm going to die. Rays of light brush about you as if they're seeking to break away from its home. You remember the ring you found and point it towards the light. I'm really lucky. If I hadn't found that ring, I'd be dead. Your hand trembles as light flows into it. Before you can think, the ring begins to burn and you stumble back. Light shines brightly from the ring. You notice a subtle warmth to it as you observe. You feel you accomplished what you must do here. You pick up the orb. Okay, so we've done good shit. With the orb back in your possession, you walk back towards the trail. I guess I'm like coming to a conclusion here. Like I feel we should be heading back to the castle, confronting the almighty evil, that kind of shit, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's true, but I guess I'll see you guys when I figure out what to do next. Keep watching. Okay, guys, we're coming out onto the roof here. This could be a really bad idea because it's instant death before. Okay, I guess I'm going to try and destroy the stone. You stretch forth your fist and point the ring at the stone. You can feel the resistance if the stone is trying to defend itself. You try to keep hope and focus on the ring. A burst of light shoots from the ring, penetrating the stone. Whoa! You feel the very air shake about. The ground beneath your feet begins to vibrate. The ring becomes heavier to hold in place, but you know that is working. You feel confidence and a sense of joy sweeping over you. The light intensifies, nearly blinding you. The ground beneath you shakes violently, as if the tower itself were trying to stop you. What little fear in you becomes powerless as you focus on your task. Everything goes white, blinding you completely. A weird sensation comes over you, and you feel as light as a feather. You begin to feel a tingling sensation all over your body as you hone your senses. The feeling suddenly flees your body, and you find yourself motionless. Everything is cold, and your ability to concentrate begins to leave you. You open your eyes, witnessing what is left of the tower. You begin to feel something. Warmth. Light. It is coming back. You lack the strength to talk as a unicorn comes into view, light emanating from the horn on its head. All you can do is smile as the creature approaches. The light intensifies. You may have saved the land, but the unicorn has come to save you. Your adventure does not end here. And that is the end of the game, guys. Fan-fucking-tastic. I think that was pretty good for like a little tribute to Choose Your Own Adventure game. Some pretty unpleasant, grisly deaths, some pretty interesting little bits, some fun little puzzles. Took me about 55 minutes to complete the whole thing. I'm sure I didn't get all the deaths and shit. There's a fucking bunch of them. I think more than I saw anyway. In fact, let me just check. I think there's an achievement for every death. So, there's 4 more I didn't get, it looks like. 4 I didn't get over the course of the game. But yeah, I think that was pretty good. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. Share it with your friends if you think they may enjoy my fantastic, wonderful, amazing narration, if I do say so myself. If you enjoy my content, you want to help me further, consider supporting me on GameWisp. There's a link in the description called Support Me here. Click that. And I guess I'll see you soon for more various video game type stuff. I've got a puppy here next to me. It's pretty numb. Bye for now. Bye for now.
No!
I'm sorry I'm not saying a lot, guys.